Hello everyone, I'm Sean and you're watching Salt, my YouTube channel all about sports and interesting topics. And today I'm in Turin. I'm about to go to the Aerospace Fair of Turin, which is quite important, but I'm in an interesting place. This is a hotel at Lingotto. Lingotto used to be a Fiat cars factory, and on the roof of this hotel there's actually a driving circuit that was used to test Fiat cars. So I just showed you a Topolino car, an old car from the 50s, and we're inside the corridor of the hotel, or rather the corridor leading from the reception to the hotel, and this was redesigned and modernized by the famous architect Renzo Piano. So just surrounding me there is a garden. Finally, I understand how the cars could climb up to the test track on the top of the roof. I'm with an engineer. He is an aeronautical engineer, Mr. Daniele Camati, from Pro Systems 3. So they're engineers who have turned their interest to digital simulations for training of maintenance and training of flights, of eVTOLs, of drones. And they also produce hardware, so they had some interesting eVTOLs and drones to show us. I was very interested in their eVTOL because with a payload of 6 kilos, including batteries, they can fly about 100 kilometers, so that's 60 miles, significant range, and they're also in the process of experimenting transportation of medicine and connecting hospitals from one point to the other of Italy.
Of course, all these need to be able to accommodate several types of aircraft, of eVTOLs and smaller AAVs, so they need to be bigger in the vertical version and maybe a little bit smaller in the vertical version.
I want to continue that theme of testing. We've got crewed and uncrewed platforms now entering testing. So how do we ensure that the safe testing and evaluation of these vehicles takes place?
The scene has shifted because we moved from Turin, from the aerospace event, to Switzerland. Turin was absolutely breathtaking. We had so many people interviewing us and so much interest in our drone company and our services that we really didn't have time to explore the fair. But now we have moved to the premises of Jetsi, this Swiss new company, or relatively new because it's 3 years old, and we're in the process of training our pilot to drive one of their drones, and also in the process of purchasing some. This is the Jetsi logo, the Jetsi banner if you will, and this is the number of flights they did from 2023 till now. So they're almost hitting 10,000 flights in pretty much 13 months. I'm with Mirko, who is the co-founder of Jetsi Drones, and he has a firmly rooted past in aviation because he was an RC pilot driving or piloting RC planes and helicopters, but he also piloted real planes. And so now we're on the premises of Jetsi, and
Yeah.
just behind us there's the prototype of a drone. So what version is this?
So this one is Mark 19, so it's actually the latest version we have developed so far, so it includes all the new features hardware-wise and software-wise of our drone. Reason why it's behind us and is open is at the moment you're doing like an inspection, so usually after a certain amount of flights we're opening the whole drone to make sure that everything is in order, to check all the soldering points, cables, harness, and
So
and so on.
in other words, it's a maintenance.
It's a maintenance interval, exactly.
And this is V19 or Mark 19. So you went from the foundation of this company around 3 years ago
Yeah.
with Mark 1 to Mark 19,
yeah.
which means
A lot of process in between.
Yeah, like a drone basically every quarter of a year.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much so.
Yeah, and especially every prototype we've been building, we had a minimum amount of 4 drones each. So we basically built more of them because while we were building one, we usually always ordered more pieces in order to be able to have 4 of one prototype. Because as you know, prototype, something can happen on the software side, on the hardware side, so maybe one is blocked, so you can use the other one meanwhile. So the process kept ongoing.
And where are you producing the drones at the moment? They're obviously designed here in Switzerland with the software features and the architecture, the layout of the drone, but where do the parts come from and where are they actually assembled, at least the bulk of the assembly? Where does that happen?
Great question. So we do have out-of-shelf components for when it comes to motors and ESC. They are out-of-shelf but customized with the software for us. So we take the same hardware piece but we customize the software to really match with our flight controller, computer and so on.
So optimization
basically. On those parts, exactly. Then everything gets shipped to Africa, to Malawi, where they do roughly from 75 to 80% of the build process. At that point they also do the test of the component themselves and they also fly test it. Why we say 80% even though they fly test it is because it still comes to Switzerland, where the 20% is the validation part. So we are performing 20 flights each drone, each glider, in order to really validate it that everything is running properly. Once it passes these 20 flights of validation, basically it can go directly to the customer.
So it's year number 3. Have you been producing any revenue?
At the moment, yes, we do. Of course, it's more confidential in terms of numbers and everything. But after 3 years now, we are already selling drones as well, and we are doing the service, which is the most important part for us.
And I just noticed, looking around your lab, looking around the premises, a certificate. So what was that certificate you got for, or rather an award? What was that for?
Okay, so you probably mean the one that we got right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that award was a startup award. So we got basically interviewed, we got persons coming to evaluate our company, to make some videos and so on, where they wanted to see how we are doing the whole process, how is the startup layout, how is the startup situation, and so on. And they have been interviewing hundreds of startups in Switzerland, in the area. And we got an award for being like a high-level, high-tech company already at a great stage.
Q, land, stabilized, Q, disarm.
So here we're gonna take out the container of blood samples from the drone's box. This is how simple it is just to load and unload the drone.
Se il movimento è diretto sul servo, quindi vedi questa che si muove, non c'è problema, significa che è direttamente sul servo. Cinese matto. Però è super gommoso.
So this is the rack for the landing of the drone, and there's one giant QR code that the drone can see from 30 meters away. And then there's a smaller QR code which allows for very accurate landing. And there are 2 adhesive strips with independent little electric engines to them. And then finally we have a cable to recharge the system. This is the landscape in which the drones fly for their tests and all the experiments of new variations and new prototypes.
Test di volo.
Tu ci sei? Ok, start mission.
Spinning, that's moving up. Then from front position. Front position.
It's like following a very very fast bird. È come seguire un uccello molto 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 veloce.
Last bump on target. Disarm conditions are true. Timer starts. Disarm.
I'm with Gennaro, our pilot who was trained to drive one of these things, one of these gliders, drones from Jetsi. So our journey in Switzerland is coming to an end. Gennaro, did you enjoy the experience?
Oh yes.
Was it difficult or were you prepared?
No, I'm prepared for this day.
All right, so we will see you next time. So from Turin to Switzerland, we will see you in the near future for the next interesting events. This is goodbye. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Ciao!
Bye.